Hi, you are engaging in the ELA Guidebooks unit Pushing Up the Sky. The purpose of this video is to teach you what a drama is and how it is different from a tale. This will help you better understand how to write a drama. Be sure you have your handout available and something to write with for the video. How do actors in a movie know what to say and do? Do they just look at a book? Maybe they just make everything up as they go? No. Actors in movies use scripts that tell them the words to say and what to do. One of your writing tasks in the guidebook unit will be to write a folktale as a play, which is also called a drama. This is different than sitting down to write a story. Dramas are not stories that are meant to be read silently like a book. They are plays that are meant to be read aloud by actors to an audience. Instead of writing the text of a story starting with Once Upon a Time, you will need to write a script that gives the actors directions about what to say and do in order to act out a story. This is what a script looks like. A script is a set of directions for the actors in a drama. It tells each actor what to do and say in order to act out the story for the audience. At the top, just like a tale, we have the title. Next, we see the character list. This lists every character that is in the play. Notice the first character is the narrator. Narrators are the characters in the play that are the ones actually telling the story. They often explain what is going on in the beginning of the story and help the audience understand who the characters are and what is happening. For example, in this script, the narrator introduces the story by telling the audience, "In the friendly forest long, long ago, there was once a turkey, rabbit, fish, and wolf." Next, we see the setting, which tells where and when the story takes place. Often, authors of dramas will use decorations or images to help the audience imagine the setting. We call these props. For example, if the setting is a forest, then the author of the play may include props like cardboard trees or construction paper rocks. Finally, we see the dialogue. These are the words that each character will say in the order they will say them. For example, in this script, the narrator begins by saying, "In the friendly forest long, long ago." Next, Turkey says, "Friends, I need you to help me find the sound that I will make," and so on. Now you are ready to identify the elements of a script. Pause this video to record your answers on your handout at the first stop sign. Then, hit play when you are ready to continue. Let's review. When we look at a script, we can see the title at the top, then the character list here, the setting that tells where and when the story takes place, and finally, we can find the dialogue, the words that each character says in order. In this unit, you will be reading folktales around the world. Folktales are oral stories that people have told and retold for hundreds or even thousands of years, from one generation to the next. Over time, these stories have been written down so that we can read them today. While the tales you read will be from many different times and places, all folktales share some of the same elements. All folktales include characters that are faced with some type of problem or challenge that they must solve or overcome. By the end of the story, the character learns some type of lesson about life called the theme of the story. Today, folktales can be written down or acted out as a play, which is also called a drama. Let's look at the difference between a tale and a drama. Dramas and tales have a lot in common. They are both stories that include characters that must overcome a problem, usually teaching some kind of lesson or theme by the end. Authors write both tales and dramas for an audience and use details to help the audience visualize or imagine what is happening in the story. Another similarity is that both tales and dramas can use narrators. Remember, narrators are the characters in a play that are the ones actually telling the story. Narrators usually introduce the characters and the setting at the beginning of the story. They can also be used to transition from one big event to the next. Finally, the narrator normally comes in at the end of the story to explain how things end up and sometimes state the theme or lesson that the story teaches. A big difference between a tale and a drama is that tales are stories that are meant to be read, while dramas are plays that are meant to be acted out for a live audience. Authors of tales write their stories using sentences and paragraphs. Authors of plays write their directions on a script that tells the actors what to do and say. Also, where the author of a story can simply write a description of something in order to help his reader visualize it, the author of a play cannot. Instead, the author of the play needs to have one of his actors, or maybe even the narrator, describe something out loud. For example, if I was writing a story about a crab on a beach and I wanted to help my reader picture the setting, I could write, "Every grain of sand on the beach sparkled in the bright sunlight." But if I was writing a play, I would have to build props that look like an actual place my characters were in. And I would have to have my characters describe things using their words, what we call dialogue in a play or drama. For example, one of my characters might say something like this: Coconut. How are you today, Crab? Crab. Great! Every grain of sand is sparkling. Let's go for a swim. Both tales and plays organize the big events of a story into chunks, but they do this in different ways. The author of a story or tale will organize big events into chapters. Each chapter will be made up of sentences and paragraphs. On the other hand, the author of a drama will organize big events into acts. Each act will include a description of the setting and directions that tell the actors what to do and say. Now you are ready to compare and contrast tales and dramas. Pause this video to record your answers on your handout at the second stop sign. Then, hit play when you are ready to continue. Let's review. There are many ways that dramas and tales are alike. Both dramas and tales have characters. In both, characters must solve some problem or face a challenge. Both use stories to teach a lesson or a theme. And authors in both try and help their audience visualize or imagine what is happening in the story. Finally, both tales and dramas use narrators. Some differences are that while tales are intended to be read, dramas are intended to be performed by actors for an audience. Also, dramas are different than tales because they are written down as scripts that give directions to actors. Also, while authors of stories can use details in a text to describe the setting, authors of plays must use props and dialogue to describe where and when their stories are taking place. When we write a story, we need to be thinking about the characters, the setting, and the events that take place so that we can describe everything that happens for our readers. To write a script to a drama, we have to take this a step further, like we are directing our own movie and need to plan out what each actor will do and say so the audience can see and hear what is happening. You will use this new knowledge as you engage in the ELA Guidebooks unit Pushing Up the Sky. Make sure to turn in your completed handout to your teacher when you finish this video.